All right, let's go ahead and start. All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome. First of all, if you guys read the title, you guys already know what we're going to be talking about tonight. But first, we do have a new reel that's been uploaded to my Instagram account. So if you guys want to take a look, go ahead and take a look. I try to make it as funny as possible without saying anything. So make sure you guys, if you guys have a chance to look at it, like and comment and share, and that'll be amazing. But yeah, go ahead and take a look. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the market. Okay, so we have a very critical level above at 428, not above. So we were able to completely move past this 416 level. All right, so now we're just gonna make it white so that we know that the level is there. And we completely pushed past this 415.70 to be exact, or if we just round up, 416, right? So this level, I would expect it to become support in the near-term future. But it seems like the market wants to retest this daily 200 SMA now. Okay, so that also happens to be pretty close to this 428 level. So it would be great if we can see some type of squeeze movement higher for the rest of this week until tomorrow, which is the last day of this week, and possibly hit 428 by the end of the week, and that would be a very, very good squeeze moment. But if you don't see that today, this week, we will be able to see that next week, especially after some, maybe 2 to 3 days of consolidation, and then we can shoot up higher to 428, which upon arrival, we should be able to see that 200 SMA coinciding with this 428 level as well. Okay, so what you guys need to know is that if you take a look at the weekly time frame, right, we have completely retested and now above the both 10 and 21 SMAs, right? So this one just shows you that in the long term we are going to the upside, right? And there's still a ways left before we hit the 50 SMA on the weekly time frame, which should also coincide with the 200 SMA on the daily time frame, right? It's pretty close, right? So it's not exact, but the resistance is there, right? So just keep in mind of that. Just keep in mind of that 428 level. we basically closed right at that 420 level, right? And then we did reject off of this intraday time frame level here. So right, so this 425 level, right? So that was our basically our high of the day, right? It was at 424.94. You could just round it up to 425, and that was a previous level of support, right? It was an area of support between 424 to 425. Now, on the 2-hour time frame, though, right? After a nice pullback, so this pullback allowed us to go from being overbought, okay, to a relatively stable strength here, relative strength on the R side. And with SPY here, I would say, you know, there's a possibility that we could see a possible bounce again tomorrow, because we're now holding this ascending channel resistance and support, right? And if you guys remember, a lot of bearish chart patterns on SPY, like the ascending channel or even a rising wedge, tends to be negated by a break to the upside. And what tends to happen after that break is that we come back down, retest that ascending resistance level on whatever bearish chart pattern that we were seeing before, and we use it as support. So we flip that resistance into support. And as that happens, the price tends to bounce, right? And we start to get an accumulation of buyers, right? And then the price gets bid up along the way. So it tends to be a very low volume run up, right? So that is what we call a low volume melt up, right? And as the volume contracts, you tend to see more sideways movement happening, and the price range between each trading day starts to get a little bit smaller and smaller. Okay, so that's something that you guys should be watching for the next few weeks. Okay, but remember that 428 level is critical here. So if we do have another retest, then I will want to see a very, very big rejection at 428. So this is my ultimate price target for the markets. Okay, and why 428? Well, that's where we saw our big decline in price, right, between April to around mid-May. And once we broke that 428 level to the downside, that's where we saw our first consolidation and then that next leg down. So this 428 level, there is a lot of sellers here. So if you do decide to retest 428 along with the 200 SMA on the daily time frame, which should also coincide with the 50 SMA on the weekly time frame, that should be telling you that there's a lot of selling pressure that we will see once we retest the 428 level. So this 428 level is very, very critical. Okay, so hey, thank you, Adriana. Too funny. Thank you. Make sure you guys like the video. It really helps with the algorithm there for Instagram. It pushes out the video quicker, a lot quicker, and especially if you guys share it as well and save it. If you guys want to show your simple support, just doing those 4 things, right? Like, comment, share, and save, it really help. All right, so hopefully you guys didn't have any trouble understanding what I just said there in the markets. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And not in the comments, the live chat room. All right, so that's it. Then we will move on to kind of my brief, very quick explanation of how to trade breakouts. Right, so if you guys want to see if a single watch, you guys already know that we traded this ABT, right? So it's a very good overnight swing, right? So we got in yesterday, right? I got in a little bit early here at the bounce of the 10 SMA here, okay? So ABT, first of all, you know, actually let me just tell you guys where I got in here. Give Get my brush out. So good overnight swing, right? 2-day swing. I got it at the hold, okay, of the support around 109.50, right? Around this area, this consolidation. And we decided to break out intraday yesterday. And after that, we just consolidated again and again. And we just started flagging right underneath this 110 level. So this 110 level is a major level of resistance. So if you go back to the daily time frame, okay, or actually before I even do that, I got out today at this candlestick right here. Okay, obviously we moved a lot higher, which is fine. Okay, I did take some profits into strength in the morning as well. Okay, I took out half and then took out the rest of the half on that candlestick. All right, so very, very good gains. But obviously the markets decided to have a huge reversal as it filled in the gap and moved even lower from that gap fill. And ABT was obviously influenced by that market reversal, and it had its own reversal candlestick here with an ugly inverted hammer candlestick. So tomorrow I would expect another retest at this 110 level. Okay, so that was my kind of quick summary on what I did with ABT and what my CFS Swing Watch members did as well. So with ABT here, first of all, how did I determine this is a high quality setup, and how did I determine that it was a breakout trade that I want to trade for the next few weeks, right? So ABT here, first of all, if you go on the weekly time frame, right? So we start with the larger time frames. ABT, let's get the text out of here. So ABT is showing really good relative strength. How do we know this? Well, first of all, if you take a look at the past 2 years, right? Past 2 years, we've been going up straight, right? And then just this year, right, when the market started to fall and pull back a lot and almost erasing, very, very close to erasing all of 2021's gains, okay, ABT here is still sitting around 2021 levels, all right? And after a nice pullback, it bounced at a very critical level of support, this 103 level. Okay, so this is a year-long level, or more than a year-long level here. And this level, I think, spans maybe a year and a half or so. And this ABT 103 level was a very, very critical level of support where the price decided to bounce in mid-June. So ABT here, after a bounce, we started making this descending channel, right? So I saw this bounce, I was like, okay, there's a lot of buyers here. And so what are we going to do with this descending channel? Are we going to continue to move down and conform within this channel? Or are we going to consolidate, move sideways and then break out? And so as the weeks went on, I saw that ABT continued to respect its daily levels, right? Especially between 106 and 110. And eventually we had these little tiny pop-ups, right? Little tiny pop-ups. And what I saw was that we were respecting that weekly descending channel that we just saw on your screen here, right? And as we continue to retest the descending level of resistance on this descending channel chart pattern on the weekly time frame, the price action got tighter and tighter and tighter, and ultimately the SMAs start to coil as well, right? And you guys should know what that means. When the SMAs all coil, especially the 10, 21, and 50 SMAs, when they're all coiling like this, right? If I take out the candlesticks here, when they're coiling and coiling and coiling, right? You tend to see a huge breakout. How do we know this? Well, based on my experience with SMAs in the past 5+ years, almost 6 years now, okay? Whenever I see SMAs coiling like this, there's only one thing that can happen. The price moves away from the SMAs, causing the SMAs to also uncoil and move away from each other. So using that information, I'm expecting the ABT name here, this ticker, to have its stock price absolutely soar to the upside. And what would that cause the SMAs to do? All right, the SMAs will start to unravel itself, uncoil, and move up higher. Okay, so as we got into this name early around 109.50, right, for ABT, and some people got it at the break of 110 in the CFO Swing Watch newsletter and in the Discord, okay? We swung this name today, overnight, and we decided to take profits as the stock was going to head towards the next major level of resistance, which was at 112. Now, how do we know that this resistance was a resistance level. Well, if you take a look in the past, where was this candlestick's pivot point? Okay, the high of this candlestick was 112, exactly 112.00. All right, that's a great whole number. All right, Adriana, I'll answer your question after this explanation here. Okay, and so as we entered, and as the price decided to break above the 110, and as the price was breaking out, we decided to hold overnight, right? Because why would we want to take profits when, our first profit target hasn't even been reached, right? Or at least the price isn't going in our favor, right? So we had our first breakout above 110, but that wasn't enough. So that's the reason why we decided to swing. And also, we already have a game plan that we're still sticking to: an entry, a stop loss, and a profit target. Okay, now I personally did not hold until 112 because I was trying to garner more cash for the account. Okay, and I'm fine. I'm glad that I took early profits because, well, if I decide to hold all the way until the end of the day and continue to swing, that would have been completely a huge mess. Right? So that would have been a huge mess. And most likely my contracts would have been down from my entry point because this was a huge volatile wide price range move, and that would have been affecting my premiums on those contracts. Now ABT here, I was taking half of my risk off into strength in the early morning, right? And then I took the rest of it off once it decided to break above 111, this $111 level. Okay, so hey, welcome guys, welcome. I see more people coming in, and 4 likes. Hey, thank you guys. We need 6 more likes and we get 10 likes. But yeah, so that's kind of how you guys can identify breakout charts, right? Very good consolidation, tighter price ranges, right? And eventually if you see the price breaking above a significant key resistance level, that will be your confirmed entry, right? And once the price continues to move away from the resistance level, then that's full confirmation that the price wants to break out higher. And as you're taking profits, what you want to do is take profits into strength. And if you guys should have heard me say that multiple times. And what does that mean? Well, when the price is continuously going in your favor, you want to take off chunks off of your principal position, right? So at least like a third. Or if you want to de-risk quickly, at least half of your principal position. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's something that you guys should be doing every single time that you're trading breakouts, especially when you're swing trading breakouts. All right, does anyone else have any questions? Perfect. All right. So Adriana, I'll go over your question. Quick question: when VIX and SPX are green at the same time, does that mean to be cautious? Well, that could mean and could not mean something. So here's the thing. So VIX is it measures volatility, right? And when you're measuring volatility, right, you just want to be looking at VIX. And there could be, and usually is, a direct correlation with VIX and SPX or SPY, right? Because when VIX decides to go up, then SPY tends to go down, right? It's a direct relationship, but it's a direct inverse relationship, right? So with VIX and SPX, I would say, if I put VIX and SPY, SPX side by side, right, right, obviously, right, we've been uptrending since. Let's pick an arbitrary point here. So for VIX here, when we started to fall down, it was around, I would say, June 22nd, or maybe even June 16th, right? This is our last large green candlestick on on VIX, right? If you take a look at the cursor on the left screen here, right? And if you take a look at where I'm at with June 16, you can clearly tell that there's a direct inverse relationship, right, Adriana? Right? So as VIX is going down, okay, SPY has been going up, right? SPX, right? So, you know, it's one of those things where just because VIX is green, right, and SPX is green does not mean that we're going to be seeing a red day on that specific trading day, right? Because VIX can be green while SPX closes green. Right? I've seen that multiple times, right? So there is no, you know, direct, like exact price rise, like in a relationship with each other, like this inverse relationship. But usually in an overall trend perspective, okay, in the longer term, yes, VIX does have a direct correlation with SPX or SPY, obviously a direct inverse relationship in the fact that when VIX goes down, SPY goes up, or when VIX goes up, SPY goes down. Okay, that's basically the general, I guess, summation of what this relationship is between VIX and SPX. Okay, so Adriana, don't try to be so, you know, specific where you know, you're questioning whether or not you should be longing SPY just because VIX is green, or you should short SPY just because VIX is a green, right? So, you know, it's one of those things that you shouldn't be using VIX as an indicator, because VIX is just plainly exactly what it's doing, right? It's a volatility S&P 500 index, right? It's tracking the volatility of S&P 500, right? But don't use it as a direct quote unquote indicator, right? It will kind of mess you up, especially if you're trying to, you know, go by the colors of VIX, right? If it's green, then you should short SPX, or if it's red, then you should long SPX. It's not going to always work like that. Okay, hope that makes sense. Joel, so I do stick to my game plan. It's just that for ABT, I just want to you know, raise some cash early in the event that ABT decide to roll over quickly and reverse a lot quicker. And obviously, I did have more room to let my contracts ride free, especially that half. So that was a little bit bad on my part, but I was able to lock in gains. And if I were to you know, hold my half of my position left that I had left early in the morning, I most likely would have been at a loss at this point, right? So I'm good with it. But you know, above 10%, like you said, I would say 15%. All right, 10% might be a little too small in gains, especially with what you're risking compared to you know, your profits. Okay, so maybe try to go above 15%. Maybe a good middle ground might be 50% for you. And you know, watching price action is obviously always crucial. Okay. But yeah, I would say mainly stick to your profit target always. Okay. The price will show you where it wants to go. Okay, so yeah, so that kind of breaks down the you know, how to trade breakouts. You know, you always want to be taking profits as the price is going in your favor, and you know, the price is increasingly you know, heading towards your profit target, right? It's most likely, you know, there's no system for it. You know, it depends on how much you're risking when you're, you know, taking profits. You can take out a third or half, okay? But in this environment though, okay, you always want to take quick profits, all right? Especially if the price is heading towards your profit target already, Okay, now I'm not saying to take profits right after you see, a small amount of green on your position. I mean that take profits as you're watching the the price action, right? Especially if it's heading towards your profit target. So, we can see, crazy inverse price action like we saw on ABT today, right? So always make sure that you're always taking profits into strength, right? At least a third or at least half from your principal position. Does everyone understand what I mean? Okay, so that's it for how to trade breakouts and market analysis. Let's go over some tickers that I want you guys to be looking at for tomorrow. So UPST, I went over this last night very quickly. I had like maybe, it was less than 20 minutes for my live. I just want to do a very quick live showing you guys what setups you might want to be watching for the rest of this week. And UPST was one of them. Hey, my woman is here. My girlfriend's here. She's in the live chat. What's up? So UPST, so this one had a nice pullback. And you remember what I said, right, yesterday? If you guys went to the live stream, if you guys haven't watched the live stream from last night, watch it. Okay, it's very quick, so it shouldn't take too long to watch it. It's about like 17 minutes, I think, to be exact. And UPST here, it's seeing this. I'm seeing this pattern everywhere when these names that have completed their mean reversion back to the 50 SMA, the daily 50 SMA. Okay, they do this, right? So we have our first two rejections after retesting the daily 50 SMA for the first time in months. So they have huge rejection candlesticks here. And then the following day, the third day, we tend to have a very bullish day where we run up. And then we decide to close above the 50 SMA and we remount it. And then the following day, the fourth day after our first initial retest of the 50 SMA, we tend to come back down, pull back after a nice gap up open, right? Because remember, how do we get a gap up? Well, the buyers are being told that this name is ready to move back to the upside because we close above the 50 SMA. It's a very critical level as an SMA. And when the price decides to break to the upside and hold this 50 SMA and close and remount on this 50 SMA. So we got that gap up. But after that first close, we tend to pull back. All right, and as we're pulling back, what are we letting the other SMAs to do, right? What are we letting the SMAs do, or the other SMAs, right? We are letting the 10 and 21 SMAs catch up, right? And these are the momentum SMAs. And why do we need these SMAs catching up? Because these are our momentum SMAs. They're going to support the momentum higher, right? And for the fact that the 10 SMA has coiled up and crossed above the 21 SMA, the short-term trend is to the upside. So tomorrow, I expect UPST to have another green day, and I expect UPST to close above the 50 SMA once more. If we don't do that, if we start gapping below, and if we pull all the way back until we retest a major level of a previous resistance around 29 to 28.50, and we use it as support, a lot of sellers are going to come in. Okay, during that time when we're pulling back, a lot of sellers will start coming back in. Okay, and why is that? Well, the price is going to pull back and head towards the 10 SMA first without letting the 10 SMA go to the price first, right? So whenever I see the price pulling back and retesting the SMAs first, that's usually a bearish signal or a bearish indication, right? And that usually indicates that the uptrend is weak. So I do not want UPST to pull back tomorrow. And I don't want the price to come back first to retest the 10 SMA. I want it to happen the other way around. I want the 10 SMA to rise upward and come towards the price action and retest it itself. Not the price action, right? I want the 10 SMA to do that itself. I want the 10 SMA to continue to rise higher and higher and higher until it retests the price action by itself. Does that make sense? Right? And why do I want that? Well, because that will mean that the price is consolidating, right? It's staying away from the 10 SMA, which allows the price to gain more momentum and gain more buyers as it's heading upwards. So UPST here is a really good name to watch for the rest of this week and possibly into next week, as it's about to explode higher, especially if we do exactly what I think it will do tomorrow, right? I want it to close above the 50 SMA and possibly and hopefully ideally above the $34 level. Okay, and by next week I want it to be above this $36 level of resistance, where we use this level as a level of support and resistance in the past, right? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, well, we have them right here. Okay, we use this level 36 as a level of resistance, we use that as support, and then we use this level again as a level of resistance. So UPST, very good name to watch out for tomorrow and next week, especially if you guys want to day trade. All right, you guys can day trade your way up to 34, right? And you know, just watch out for UPST, because it can be a very good name to trade and swing trade as a breakout name, right? We're seeing some good consolidation, great volatile consolidation, but the volume is dying down. So I would like to see some good consolidation, which is the reason why I want to see a nice ideal close around 34, or at least a little bit below 34, but a nice green day. And that would also allow more buyers to accumulate, because that will be our second close above the daily 50 SMA. Okay, so mind you, this name has remounted the 50 SMA and it has completed its mean reversion back to the daily 50 SMA. Hey Dion, what's up? If you guys haven't looked at my recent reel, go ahead and take a look at that. And if you guys can, and if you guys want to show minimum amount of support, you know, at the very least, you guys can like the reel, you guys can comment, you guys can share, and then most importantly, you guys can save it. Okay, if you guys want to show, you know, a little bit of support, you know, that takes a few seconds to do. You guys can save all of my recent reels, and that'll do amazing things for me for the Instagram algorithm, especially. Okay, so if you guys do that, then, and if you guys did that, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It really helps out, especially with that saving. Okay, so that's it for UPST. Dion, you said, would you be able to look at MLNK tonight? Of course. Yeah, so I saw this name yesterday. I was going over my tickers, and so it's basically doing what I kind of predicted here, right? So obviously, I just want to translate this up higher. Right? It's doing exactly what I want to do, but obviously above this level of resistance. So it's even better, right? It's way better than what I was looking at before. Okay. Hey, Melissa, what's up? You're new here, I think. Melissa Riley, welcome. And it seems like you said, how do you like Coinbase for day trading? I'll go over Coinbase after ML and K here. All right, so stick around. Okay, so stick around. So ML and K, it's acting even more ideal than what I've shown you before, right? With this drawing here, right? Obviously, this was here. Okay, and what I wanted to do ideally was that I wanted to break above or possibly retest the descending level of resistance, okay, and kind of consolidate underneath it and then break above $18. But instead, we're actually consolidating above $18, so that's even better, right? It's a lot more bullish than what I would have liked, ideally. And MLNK here, it had good earnings, it seems like, okay, but the earnings reaction was kind of boring. It was very tame, right? Nothing really happened. So I would expect more volume to come in the next few trading days here. And MLNK, obviously, it's a very low volume name, which is the reason why we don't see huge fall through days, especially after earnings. But I would expect MLNK to hold above $18 for the next week. And obviously, I would want to see a very large breakout back to the 20s here. Okay, I want to see a nice squeeze back to the 20s. And why do I expect to squeeze? Well, we're in already a huge area of supply, right? And that's the reason why we've been seeing some very good consolidation and this wedge chart pattern that we're using as a bottoming for price action. So if we're able to break to the upside by next week, I want to see $19 by next week. Does that make sense, Dion? right? So we're above this wedge chart pattern, and we're using this descending level of resistance as support now. We flipped it from a resistance to support. So this is very, very good. All right, so this is very, very good action. It's even more ideal than what I've described in the past. Hey, welcome guys, welcome. 8 likes, wow. Can we get to 10 likes? Remember guys, that's my goal for each single live, 10 likes. Okay, so if you guys want to show your utmost support, just liking the video or sharing the live stream, or even commenting, it's you know, that's all I would want. I'm not gonna ask you guys for more. That's like the minimum that I would want, and you know, even for my reels, right? If you guys can like, save, comment, whatever that you guys want to do, it's always good, right? And you know, the best thing about that is that you're showing your support in a couple of seconds, right? You're just tapping away. Okay, so Melissa, let's take a look at coin. Oh, yeah, coin doesn't look too good. Yeah, so coin right now, it has a heightened volatility, right? The price of each trading day is very, very wide, right? The price range, especially today, went down 10 points, right? Or 10%, and almost hit, well, I think it did hit minus 11% then low today. But with coin here, this is very bad here. This is a bearish candlestick. All right, it's a very it's an engulfing bearish candlestick. And why is it engulfing? Well, because hey, Command Sparking, what's up? I'll go over more after coin. So the reason why you know, this one is it could be very, very bad tomorrow is that, well, if we break below 84, and especially if we do break below the 10 SMA, okay, we're heading straight back down to 71, okay, or we can come right back down to another previous level of resistance around 76.50. All right, so Melissa, if you want to trade this one, I would say look for a short, right? And for the fact that we've had an increased amount of volume today with the selling, and okay, and we're seeing an engulfing bearish candlestick. All right, and if you guys don't know what that is, well, first of all, if you take a look at this candlestick and the previous candlestick, you guys can tell that the high and the low of today's candlestick is overshadowing the previous high and the previous low of this candlestick, right? And that's the reason why we call it an engulfing candlestick, where it just completely encompasses this previous candlestick, right? And so the trend looks like it's going to break to the downside. Does that make sense, Melissa? Hopefully you're still here, Melissa. But yeah, like I said, I like Coinbase for day trading, especially for tomorrow on Friday. Okay, if we see continued weakness, I would say this is a great contender to move to the downside. But the thing is, okay, so the last analysis that I want to do for Coinbase, okay, is we're kind of making a descending channel. Okay, so this is a bullish chart pattern. I'm not gonna negate what I just said about being bearish, okay? But this is your risk assessment for your puts that you bought today, Melissa, okay? And remember, you guys should be constantly assessing your risks as you're in your trade, right? And for the fact that we've retested the bottom range of this descending channel, okay, there's a possibility that we can see some green tomorrow. Right, we can see a nice little bounce, maybe possibly back to $88. Okay, or maybe you might even see another big run back to this decent level of resistance, which I don't think is going to happen tomorrow. I would probably think the most probable occurrence could be next week. By next week, this can happen by next week. Okay, but just keep in mind of your risks here with your short position, since you bought puts today. Okay, that we have retested this descending level of support on this overall descending channel. Okay, so this is on the 2-hour time frame, one of my favorite intraday hourly time frames. Okay, so Melissa, that's your risk for your short position. For the fact that we can see possibly another retest back to possibly maybe around 88 or even 90 tomorrow. All right. So are there any more tickers that you guys want to go over? Oh, Mara. Yeah, so Mara also looks weak. Okay, so this is a net. I've been looking across the board, and there's a lot of green to red candlesticks that have happened today thanks to the overall market filling the gap that it made today morning. All right, at market open, right at market open, right? So for Mara here as well, very, very nasty looking inverted hammer candlestick. But, okay, the thing is, with Mara here, right? Whenever I see inverted hammer candlesticks like this, all right, I expect a little tiny gap down open and then another green bounce, right? And then we're gonna continue to move up higher. Why? Well, because first of all, right, we've been going down on Mara for quite some time, right, since last year. So why not, right? Why don't we just continue on with this uptrend? And so far, Mara just broke out of this great looking ascending triangle or a nice bullish flag, right? And we just broke out of this $14 level, okay? And we're still sticking around 3 points higher, right? So we still have a lot more ways to go back to the 20s, right? And that's ultimately my price target for Mara, right? So with NARA here, obviously we need the support of all the cryptocurrencies, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Those major two big names in the cryptocurrency market. With Mara here, I would say so far it's a little bit, but there we go. It is overbought here, okay? You guys can clearly tell on the RSI. And if you guys are new here, I tend to not look at technical indicators, but when I do, it's usually RSI, and the next one will be MACD. Okay, I use it by that order, right? I think the RSI is the most useful technical indicator, and then MACD being the second most important. But I always use the RSI first. But the thing is, I don't even need to look at the RSI, right? I already had a feeling that the price is already overbought. Okay, so with the Mara here being a little bit overbought, I would expect the price to come back down a little bit, maybe bounce around and around, I would say $16 or around 15.50. Why? Because that was also a level of support in the past, right? So this level here, okay, could be a good significant level of support that we can bounce off of and then continue to move to the upside. Does that make sense, Sparky? Joey said, I need your vision. You look at every angle. That's what I need to work on. Yeah, I mean, it's some people might not want to do it because they think that they're going to mess up their principal position that they have. They might get out too early, or they might get out with losses with losses that they didn't need to take or something like that, right? Or whatever it may be. But it's always good to be risk assessing, right? Do nothing. Risk assessment, changing my perspectives. Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing, right? You want to be looking at every single perspective and angle and try to, figure out what position that you can take based on those risk assessments, right? And you're constantly doing that, right? That's what you're constantly doing. After you're in the trade and after you're filled, what are you doing, right? You're basically watching the price move up and down and oscillating back and forth. And from that price action that you're seeing and that data that you're seeing, right? What are you getting from that? Right? You're assessing your risks. That's all you're doing. Okay, obviously you should have a game plan first and being disciplined with that game plan and following through with that game plan, right? But at the same time, you're also assessing your risks as your price of that trade that you're in is oscillating up and down. Okay, hope that makes sense. All right. Oh, wow. We have a lot more people coming in now. Thank you guys for 9 likes. One more like and we get our 10 likes. Okay. Sparky, WMT, huh? Oh, I see a chart pattern coming in. Dun dun dun. I'm seeing a wedge. I'm seeing a potential wedge forming, or it could be like a very ugly looking wedge. Maybe something like this. Yeah, maybe something like that. But either way, I'm seeing a chart pattern forming. Okay, so this one right here, whenever I see a very sharp run to the upside like this, right, especially with the sharp angle of this ascending support trend line, we tend to break to the upside on wedges like this. Okay, so for WMT here, again, we're right back at that 130 level. And guess what? We rejected off of that 130 level, right? The high of today was 130.37. So what does that tell you? We have a level of resistance at 130. And then guess what? We have an even more major level of resistance around 134, right? So if we're able to break above 130, right, this is the key level, we should be able to see a very large run back to 134 once more. We did that already during the formation of this wedge chart pattern. So it's a very weird looking, quirky looking wedge chart pattern. But if we do decide to have, you know, a breakout above this 130 level, that will also be a breakout above this wedge, right? Now, I love the fact that WMT was able to hold this daily 50 SMA, right? After a nice big pullback, okay, we started to bounce, and we continue to bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce, and we continue to move to the upside. Now, today, you can call it a slight doji candlestick, right? So who knows, we might see another big move to the downside, right? And maybe we can just see another, you know, a wedge form like this, right? Okay, something like that, roughly. But the best case scenario here would be tomorrow, WMT breaks above 130. Does that make sense? Specifically 130.20. Right, but just keep in mind of this wedge chart pattern, right? Specifically this one that I just shown you. All right, we're making higher highs and higher lows. And the fact that we bounced so quickly away from the 50 SMA can significantly show us that there are a lot of buyers here who are willing to pick up WMT shares here at this price and possibly hold until we hit 150s again. All right, so hopefully if you go on the weekly time frame, right, we can come back to that range that we saw back in 2021. All right. Yes, perfect sense. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so we're reaching the last stretch of the live stream here. I'm gonna give you guys one last chance to send in your takers that you guys want me to do. Okay, and for the people who missed out on the first few minutes, I would say around the first 25 to 30 minutes, make sure you watch that because I show you a breakdown of the market analysis that I have for you all for this current market environment that we're in. And I show you guys how to trade breakouts, right? How to find them as well, okay? GH, okay. So GH was a name that I've shown you all in the previous live stream, okay? Right now, GH is looking kind of ugly, okay? Why is that? Well, it's very volatile, but it's not volatile in the ideal sense. And what does that mean? Well, I was looking for a breakout above 52, right? I was looking for a clear run, to the upside after a break above 52, and we saw that right after earnings. However, okay, I wanted to see more volatility, but not in this way, right? We pull back, we bounce, and then we're pulling back again, right? So who knows? Maybe we're making another wedge here, right? Maybe another wedge, just like we saw on WMT, okay? And possibly we can see another run up above maybe 55 or 56, okay? But so far, I'm not liking this volatility. I wanted to see a clear run to the upside after breaking above 52, but we didn't get that. So for GH here, this is off my watch list now. I'm possibly just gonna use. I'll probably get back to his name once we come back to this $56 level. Okay. I'm trying to make it a little bit more accurate. There we go. Okay, so GH here, I want to see a breakout above 56. I'm not going to be watching it anymore because of the volatility. And, you know, I just want to see that big move to the upside above 52, not 53, 52, but we did not get that, right? We saw an immediate rejection and pullback. So hopefully that makes sense, do nothing. Melissa Riley, yes, I do trade options. So the CFS Steering Watch members, they all trade options. Some trade equity as well, but mainly we do a lot of options. Okay. If you decide to join tonight, Melissa, by any chance, take a look at the description box below. It's the second link. All right, there are promo codes for you to use as well, 50% off. But yes, we do trade options. And for a fun fact, I started out with equity trading, right? Just regular shares. I have completely mastered trading shares, which is the reason why I decided to move up the ladder and start trading options, the more leveraged type of trading, right? We have that, that pyramid shape kind of level there to trading, where we have equity at the bottom, right? And then options at the middle, and then futures at the top. Right, so it gets more leveraged as we go up. Right, obviously equity trading does not have any leverage unless you're using margin trading, right? Where where you're borrowing basically funds. But yeah, Melissa, for a succinct answer, yes, we do trade options. And Melissa, if you're ever interested in joining the CFS Steering Watch newsletter, in which you also get access to the CFS Discord, just check out that link in the description box. There's a second link. It's hard to miss. It just says CFS Steering Watch newsletter. There's a 50% sale going on, all right, for tiers 3 and tiers 4. You can see the difference between those two tiers in the website. So make sure you just read carefully, all right? If you have any questions as well, Melissa, make sure you email me. Hit me up on Instagram, okay? There's a lot of ways to contact me. Just take a look at the description box and you'll see all my socials as well. Of course, you're welcome. Thank you for joining, Melissa. Guys, so that's it for tonight. Actually, wait. Sparky, you have one more. I didn't even see that. I really suck at looking at the live chat, but yeah. So XOM here. Energy was going crazy today, right? And do you remember I went over XOM? I think, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago? 2 days ago. Right, and we closed right below the supply level, the supply range between 90 and 93, right? Let me actually make this smaller, right? So there's obviously a very large area of supply around this area, and that's the reason why we saw a nice big pop and a continued movement to the upside after a gap up open on XOM, and obviously the overall strength and energy that we saw today, and they're completely moving inversely to the markets. And so far, energy has been doing that, right? The entire energy sector, whenever we see the entire energy sector green as a pickle, we tend to see the overall equity markets completely dying. They're suffering from the fact that energy is going up, right? And we have this inverse direct relationship with each other, right? Between energy and the overall equity markets, right? Just one single sector kind of almost determines where the equity markets can go in this current market environment, which is crazy to think, but that's what's been happening, right? So with XOM here, I would say if it decides to break above 93 again tomorrow, expect a day trade back to the high of today, so around 94, and you can take off profits there around 94. Okay, and it makes sense that we rejected off of 94. That's also where we rejected and kind of had that huge pullback in the first week of August here. Right, so expect to see another rejection tomorrow and possibly below 93 and possibly another retest of $90. Okay, Sparky, but if we're able to see some continued strength in the overall energy sector, look for a retest around 94. All right. So that is it for tonight, guys. Melissa, one more thing. If you decide to join by tonight, I will give you the beginner's trading guide for free as well on the side. That goes for anyone who's looking at this live or even the recording. All right. So that is it for tonight. I may or may not do a live tomorrow. Okay. But it's Friday, so obviously people will not be partying, or people won't be looking at their computer screens, or people won't be looking at charts. So I'll let you guys know, but most likely I won't do a live tomorrow, like I usually don't do lives on Friday. But yeah, see you guys all hopefully tomorrow, most likely not. But make sure you guys take a look at the first 20 to 30 minutes of this live stream once this recording is live on my channel. And make sure you guys always having a game plan before you guys trade or before you guys execute a trade, and make sure you guys have a stop loss. All right, and as you guys put a stop loss on your trades, you should be constantly assessing your risks. All right, so remember, work hard and trade smart. Always be trading smart. Have a great rest of your evening.